We will be ranking every single Squid Game Season 2 and 3 combined players and how far they would have gotten, in my opinion, in Season 1's games. So this will not count, obviously, Gi-hun, because we know how far he made it in the first games. Obviously, he won it. And obviously, it goes without saying, spoilers still for Season 3, because some of these players' fates are going to be talked about. But also, just want to point out, you can see on the screen, there's no red light, green light, because that was the only game that repeated. So we kind of already have our answer with that one. This was like a fun video I thought of, because I'm really curious myself. I don't even know where I'm going to put some of these players until I actually dissect them one by one. So let's get right into this. First off, we have Jung Bay. Now, he was in Season 1. He wasn't in the games, obviously, but he was at the very beginning of Season 1. So we have Dalgona first to start off. I think he would make it through Dalgona for sure. Probably would pick a steady shape, and, get through it. I can see him do that. Lights Out, I don't know. It depends if he gets caught up in the fight or not. He is an ex-Marine. I might give him the benefit of the doubt for that he would survive Lights Out. Or maybe he would be smart enough to just not get involved too much. Tug of War, this one just depends on what team he's on, but I'd imagine he'd be on a solid team, maybe, because ex-Marine, maybe some other people that are a little stronger would take him on too for that. So I would say he survives Tug of War. Marbles, this might be the one, he'd be the kind of person to sacrifice himself for somebody, and we have to go into the mindset that these players would be playing Marble with another player that they would likely think that they can go through together. They'd be close, and they'd have to sacrifice one another. He feels like the kind of person that would sacrifice himself just to save another person. So you know what? I think I'm pretty fine with putting him in Marbles. I think Marbles is probably where he would have died. Next we have Junhee, the pregnant woman, player 222. She, in Season 3, made it all the way to the jump rope game. Here, I think she makes it through Dalgona, as long as she avoids the fight, because I feel like if she got invested in the fight, she, especially being a pregnant woman, she wouldn't have any real thing going in her favor to survive if someone was actually attacking her. But like I said, again, I just don't think she would have gotten involved. She's not the type of person. Tug of War, maybe Tug of War would have been when she got it, because like I said, she's a pregnant woman. A lot of your just strengths, I guess, like literal physical strengths, they just aren't what they can be. You're carrying an entire newborn in you. So, you know what? I think she would have realistically probably gotten out in Tug of War. For sure. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tug of War with her. Next we have the mom, player 149, the mom of player 7, which we will get to. Let's see, Dalgona, she makes it through Dalgona. She probably has some very old school tricks and stuff to know that, know how to do that. No matter the shape, if I'm being honest. Lights Out, again, she's not that kind of person to get involved, but even if she did, she does have her knife weapon she keeps in her hair. Tug of War, she would have to be insanely lucky to be on a good team. I feel like somehow maybe she would survive Tug of War if she was on a good team, but we know she would pair up with her son no matter what. But people are not gonna want to take on an old lady in their team. That's just kind of how they were. And you know what, just because I feel like it might be a little realistic to put her in Tug of War, but it's such a 50-50 chance, I'm gonna put her a little beyond Tug of War and put her in Marbles, just because if it came to Marbles, she's playing her son 100%, and she would sacrifice herself to play. If she played against her son in Marbles, she would 100% sacrifice herself. So to let her son go and play the further games, and hopefully he wins. So just on that emotional kind of storytelling, I think she would make it to Marbles, but then get the axe at Marbles. Next we have her son that I was just alluding to, player 7. like I said, I literally just said that his mom would sacrifice herself to save him in marbles, which means he would have to make it to marbles too. But I'll just go through the motions. Dalgona, he survives. If he came and fought in Lights Out, he'd be cooked. But this is a kind of on the assumption too, because Lights Out did happen in season 2, obviously in a different way, but they all were hiding, right? A lot of them just kind of went into hiding. He would have done that anyways if it was season 1 as well. So he gets through that. Tug of War. Because he's with his mom and I already put her in marbles, it's like by default, I feel like I have to put him there. Just for the storytelling. And he's going to go higher than anyone on this list just because his mom would sacrifice herself to save him in that predicament. So, he's getting to the glass bridge somehow. But this is where he's gone. He's gone at the glass bridge. He's dead. Like, he's not making it beyond this. We should be thanking his mom that he got even up to that point, honestly. So yeah, glass bridge is definitely, I think, when he would go. Next we have Hyun Joe, player 120. I'm just gonna say it and then I'm gonna explain it. She's going right to the Squid Game, bro. She would. Dalgona would cook. Lights Out, even if she got involved in the fight, she would cook. Tug of War, she would cook. Marbles, this one would be kind of emotional. I'm not sure who she would have paired up with at this point. Maybe I'll have to think about that, but like I just feel like she definitely would be. At the same time, yeah, in Marvel, she's someone that would maybe sacrifice herself for the right person, but I just, I want to give a lot of notice to her actual, like, skills, her combat and everything, because it is really good. She was really unfortunate the way that she died in Season 3, but she had to die that way in a very, like, didn't see it coming way, because there was no way it would have been realistic if she died from just, like, being aware, if that makes sense. Like, she was too much of a powerful player to go out that way. So yeah, I just want to give some recognition to her. She would make it all the way to the Squid Game. Basically a finalist then. Might as well have just put finalist, but talking about the games here, not like the position, how far you go. Next we have the father, player 246, the one that obviously Guard 11 helped in Season 3 a lot. This one I'm actually interested. I'm not going to know until I go through. So we got Dalgona. He probably makes it through Dalgona. Maybe he's even done it with his daughter at some point. Lights Out. I don't think he gets involved. But even if he did, maybe he did join the rebellion and he did good there. Not going to put him in Lights Out. Tug of War. I think he survives Tug of War. Marbles. Maybe he survives Marbles in my opinion. I don't know who he would pair up with necessarily. But I'm not going to say he pairs up with... If he pairs up with Hyun Joe, then... I don't want to do that because that sounds so contradicting. I actually think Hyun Joe would sacrifice herself to save him. But... I'm just going to say for the benefit he gets to do Marvels, but unfortunately I think the glass bridge is when he would get the axe. You're going to see a lot of these players not make it to the Squid Game just because the glass bridge is that brutal. Like, Hyun Joe could have died in the glass bridge. This is more off the benefit that maybe she would just go in the back of the pact. Or get lucky, This glass bridge might be one of the most just unpredictable. Like, you just have to get really lucky. Probably one of the biggest games of the entire show that just rides on your luck. Next, we have Daho, player 388. Dalgona, he passes. Lights Out, passes. For sure. I don't think he would have been involved in the fight, to be honest. We did unfortunately find out he was a fake Marine, although I still don't want to believe that because there is word that the translator in English, in the Korean dub, when it translates to English, it didn't translate it properly. I think apparently he wasn't a Marine, but he was in social services, which is an alternative for men if they aren't, like, I guess, fit to be a part of the Korean military. Tug of War, I think he gets through Tug of War. Marvels, I feel like he would pair with he would pair with Jung Bay. I feel like he would, and I guess because I'm saying that he would make it past beyond Jung Bay and go to the glass bridge. But again, this is another one where he's getting the axe at the glass bridge. He's not making it there for sure. Well, he's not making it beyond the glass bridge, but he made it to the glass bridge because I'm going off the theory that I think him and Jung Bay would have teamed up for the marbles game, and obviously I already said Jung Bay would sacrifice himself for someone. I guess I just realized that's Daho. So yeah, he makes it to the glass bridge in my opinion. Next we got player 333, Myung-gi. You know what? Obviously, he was a finalist in season 3. I'm gonna say I think he's another finalist. I think he would be another finalist again in season 1. Dalgona, he makes it through. Lights Out, he makes it through. Yeah. Tug of War makes it through. Probably joins a very strong team, you know. Marbles, he would see. This is good too. He might have still had some, I guess, good in him to want to sacrifice himself for Johnny if they played the Marbles game together, but there's 2 things wrong with that. Number 1, obviously, I just said that Johnny would die in Tug of War, so she wouldn't be around to play Marbles with him. And number 2, she would never team up with him to play Marbles. It wouldn't have been her character anyway. But that would be the only exception, that maybe he would have died in the Marbles game. And yes, like I said, Glassbridge is so unpredictable, but I definitely think he's someone who could just be one of those last few to survive it. Like, if he was in season 1, I feel like he would have still been one of those that they would bring all the way to the end as a finalist. So yeah, player 333 will be in the Squid game, joining Hyun Joe at the minute. Next, we have Minsu. Dalgona, I don't know if he'll pass Dalgona, if I'm being honest. Maybe he would just, the nervous jitters would kick in. Not sure, actually, with this one. Lights Out, oh, I don't know. You know what? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt of getting through Dalgona. He wouldn't have gotten involved in the brawl in Lights Out. I'll give him that. Maybe Tug of War? I feel like maybe Tug of War he would have gone. I'm gonna go with that. I think he would have gone in Tug of War. He was a finalist in season 3. You know, props to him, I guess, for making it so far out of everyone. Especially with the, you know, personality he portrayed as like someone who's very shy and just very enclosed into himself and stuff. But yeah, you know, as the Thanos will say, my boy Minsu, right? We'll go in Tug of War. Next we got, well, I can't remember her name. It's like Yamya. That's how you say it in Korean, but I think it's like spelled like uni or something like that. But yeah, this was basically the one that befriended Hyun Joe up here, and she, in the real Squid Game in season 2, unfortunately bit the dust during the Mingle game. I think she makes it through Dalgona. You know what, I'm gonna be honest, she feels like someone they would have killed off in Lights Out. I could definitely see that kind of thing for her character. For sure. So I'm gonna go with Lights Out, man. I will. I'm gonna go with Lights Out. So unfortunately, she's gonna be one of the lower ones on this list. So next we have Say Me. This was the woman that was starting to get close to Minsu, and unfortunately bit the dust, ironically, at Lights Out. She was killed by Namgyu in the brawl. Maybe that's also where she bites the dust, but here's the thing I want to actually take into account. I'm going to go beyond Lights Out for this reason. In Season 2, Lights Out happens later on. Like, there's more games that happen by the time Lights Out happens in Season 2. In Season 1, it's right after the second game. Season 2, it's right after the third game. So you got a game extra in there. And maybe this wouldn't have been enough for Namgyu to, like, just go out and straight up kill her. Yet, I feel like his motivation of killing her was just switching sides, maybe. Something along those lines. And, like, obviously he was annoyed by her anyway, but, like, I feel like that build-up wouldn't have been there yet. So, I'm just gonna say she survives Lights Out, but I do think she's gonna bite the dust alongside Minsu in Tug of War. She'll probably be on the same team as Minsu. I could totally see that one happening. Next you got the spiritual lady. I don't even like saying her name. I would love if she went in Dalgona, but that's not happening. Lights Out, she survived in Season 2, so I'll give her that. She probably would survive Lights Out, but maybe Tug of War is when she goes. Yeah, she probably would go in Tug of War, especially with all her followers, meaning that, you know, they would probably be following her in Tug of War, listening to her orders, and she's gonna get them all killed again, just like she did in Keys and Knives. That's crazy. But yeah, spiritual lady probably would bite the dust in Tug of War. You know what? I'm actually gonna make a change, and I'll give a reason why. You have player 100 here, basically the guy with the most debt, one of the easily most unlikable players that they introduced. Dalgona, he doesn't go. Lights Out, he doesn't go. Tug of War. Why do I feel like he would sneakily get through Tug of War, and then he'll sneakily get through Marbles or some shit? He's making it to the... I even hate this, but, like, I feel like this is where they would have taken his character, but he probably would have been off in the Glass Bridge or something like that. For sure. I feel like Glass Bridge would have been when he went. But I guess he's not a finalist this time, like he was in Season 3 somehow. So yeah, that's enough of that. Now here's where I'm going to make a change. I'm going to do 2 here at the same time, because I just thought about this. We're moving Minsu and Say Me up to Marbles. For now, not both will stay there. Because Thanos right here, I'll go through him. Dalgona, he makes it through. Lights Out, we didn't even get to see him in Lights Out actually in Season 2, because he died in the bathroom right before Lights Out happened. And I don't think he even would have died in Lights Out, if I'm being honest. Maybe he's not dying in Tug of War, which is also the reason why I moved Say Me and Minsu up, because without context of knowing what the game is, I feel like him, Minsu, and Say Me, along with Namgyu, who we'll get to, would have all been on the same team. I feel like that would have happened. So, like, if I'm saying that CMA and Minsu would die in Tug of War, I would also say Thanos and Namgyu would have. I don't think that's the case. Maybe they actually would have made it. So, you know what? I'm going to go a little bit of a change here. I'm going to say... Does Minsu sacrifice herself for me? Does Say Me sacrifice herself for Minsu? I'm gonna say that she does. I feel like that'd be her. And Minsu would have made it to the Glass Bridge. Say Me would have died in the Marbles game. Thanos, like I said, he made it past Tug of War alongside the Marbles. You know what? If it came down to it, because I'm gonna go to Namgyu, I'm basically saying it would have been Namgyu and Thanos in the Marbles game. I feel like Namgyu would have somehow won that, and I still would have been where Thanos got the axe. So I'm saying Namgyu comes up to the Glass Bridge. Thanos dies in Marbles. Namgyu goes to the Glass Bridge game. And I'd say he also goes there. Maybe something to do with Minsu. Maybe they fall together. One of them sacrifices himself to simultaneously kill the other. But I really like this list. Like, this list, I think, looks pretty solid right now. You know? Yeah, I could say that she maybe goes up. I'm only saying I feel really bad for putting Jenny so low, but like, she's a pregnant woman. Like, Tug of War is probably like not a good game for that, man. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the last one. Lunchbox, my favorite character. I'm just kidding. He is I love his name. I had to include him again because his name's amazing. At this point, maybe he's just gonna become a meme in my head. But Lunchbox. He survives Dalgona. He survives Lights Out because he's just built different. No one messes with a guy named Lunchbox in Lights Out. You don't do that. That's forbidden. And then you got Tug of War. Probably would have made it through Tug of War. Maybe he would have even teamed up with the other finalists that happened in Season 3. Like Player 203 and the other ones. Marbles. I feel like Marbles would have been that kind of game that he goes... As much as I'm playing around with Lunchbox here, but yeah, I think he probably would go in Marbles too. I can definitely see that happening. So yeah, there we go. That's my full list of all the players in Season 2 and 3. I didn't count the front man because he technically already won a Squid Games, and let's be real, he probably would have won the whole damn thing too if I put him in this list. He'd be up there with player 120 and 333, Hyun Joe and Myungi. So yeah, that's pretty much my whole list. Let me know what you guys think if anyone watches this video. But yeah, I really want to do more tier lists like this, maybe more Squid Game videos, just to really analyze the end of it. And I want to do other videos too, other media. I'm definitely going to get into more Stranger Things too, which is going to happen this fall, which I'm somehow even looking more forward to that than Squid Game. Those are like my 2 good Netflix shows right now. Cobra Kai finished way back in February. So like, it's a good year for this stuff. So I really want to hopefully build a foundation. I really hope you guys enjoyed a video like this. You know, if you guys have any questions or tweaks of what maybe I can improve on, like, I'll gladly hear it. You know, I'm willing to hear anyone out about how I can improve the quality of my videos on this channel.